don't you just get inspired in the weirdest places sometimes? Like you get the greatest ideas when you take a shower. When you take a number two. To South Africa, I'm going to jump in there, I'm sorry. But to South Africa, right now, triggers.
It has to be. That from Bronx. Yeah, he grew up poor and what. He used to be a bouncer and he had a Drake. I would say he inspires creativity in other people. But
Put It By The Wall is the #1 podcast nowhere in the world.
At least this is where they come to be inspired and motivated, my brother.
Okay, you're not lying.
Amen.
Welcome back to another episode of Put It By The Wall, the podcast where we speak about stuff.
Amen.
Stuff to get you inspired and make you feel like you can take over the world. Stuff to make you smile and then just stuff in general. I'm your host, Kurt.
I'm Laurent.
And today we've got an inspirational topic. Very inspirational.
Amen.
Because it's about inspiration.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. So, it's about inspiration. We're going to cover quite a few things to do with inspiration, where it comes from, how to get it, who inspires us, and then just people in general who get inspired and who inspires.
Just fair warning to all the viewers there, you know. There's going to be some controversial takes being mentioned here, so keep an open mind. Huh?
Yeah. So, kick it off with like a scientific explanation of what happens in the body or in the brain.
Fair enough. What I will say from research that we've compiled, inspiration, the definition of inspiration is a mental and emotional spark. So they need to come both together, and it forms in your prefrontal cortex, as well as giving you a hit of dopamine. So which means you just feel that it's almost like, I don't want to, it's euphoric. That's the word. There we go.
Nice.
So that's your euphoric feeling.
Yes.
So I was going to use something on the dark side now, but yeah, it's euphoric. How do I say? It balances out your chemistry, so to say. So if you inspired your prefrontal cortex, which is this part of your head, your dopamine, which comes from your glands, it meets and you see things in a different light. You just see shit that you didn't see before.
From like a different perspective.
There we go. From a different perspective. Yeah.
That is a beautiful explanation of what happens in the body.
Yeah, but that's just the physical part. There's not the emotional, the feelings that come with it.
How would you then explain that?
I would say, for me personally, it's like an elation. You just have that little bit of hop in your step, and you have that motivation to say, "Hey, that spark came now."
Yes.
And if you don't act on it now, that's my belief. If you don't act on it now, it falls to the back and it's gone. You never need, even if you just write it down, you might not need it now. Come a year, 2, 3 years, 4 years down the line,
you might just find it and it might just inspire the next big idea. You never know.
Exactly.
And I think I want to just jump onto that quickly. The inspiration striking now. That's a huge thing for us. Like, it's not all the time that we get into the flow state or that we get that hit of dopamine and feels like everything is just right in the moment. So strike now, like do it often, as much as you can. Strike now, 100%. Because as you make, so inspiration comes and then action should follow. And most of the time we don't act, we plan, we get into our head like you normally tell me, and we get stuck in limbo, right?
Yeah.
So as inspiration strikes, couple it with action, and I would say you're good to go. I will also say for the people that is younger than us, don't wait until you are 35.
You have the resources.
Oh, that is a big one, Laurent.
I want to build myself.
I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for that. It's always something that you're lacking. Strike. What's it, guys? Les Brown.
While the iron's hot.
Strike while the iron's hot. Les Brown says, act. Go for it while you're not ready.
Yeah.
Act while you're not ready. Make a move. When the inspiration is there, then go for it.
In other words, fake it till you make it. Simple as that. You don't need the information now. You don't need as long as you have an idea that you can build around. All the research, all the stuff, as long as you take that first step where you know you have to to continue.
Jim Rohn says that, you remind me of this now, Jim Rohn says something along the lines of success is not something that you chase. Success is something that you attract.
Yeah, 100%.
So you become that before the time. Like fake it till you make it to a certain extent. You become that, and automatically, we were speaking about this now the other day. Talk about Jim Rohn. We were speaking about this, remember? We need to become how we're gonna make money. That was our conversation.
That was the whole premise of it.
And we need to we need to become valuable enough where people say, you know what, here's the money. So
I want this.
So you need to run through a list of ideas. And the thing is, inspiration doesn't always hit, but also get into situations where you can get inspiration. Step outside of your comfort zone, different environments, and those kind of things.
That's a very big thing. Getting out of your comfort zone will inspire you. Because if you're looking at the same thing day in, day out, the definition of insanity, how can anything change if you're doing the same shit every single day?
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Well said, my brother.
Also, I'm going to say this, that inspiration is like, to me, inspiration is like, and this is not me boosting it, or how would I say, this is not me hyping it up. Like I'm always in inspiration mode, my bro.
Always looking for the.
It's because I'm always looking. I'm in line with that frequency.
Yeah.
So I'm getting inspired all the times. Ideas are coming to me. Inspired by people, inspired by videos, inspired by music, and all sorts of other stuff. So I think it's something that inspiration is kind of always there. You kind of just need to step into it.
Yeah, I think, like you said now, you have to, I wouldn't say attract it, but once you feel that spark, you have to be open to it.
You have to be open to it.
You can't say, okay, it happened, klaar. Well, if you open yourself up, I promise you, it can be a life-changing moment.
It's like the analogy with the car. I'm not sure if you heard about it. Where if I had to ask you how many golfs did you see for the day?
Yes.
And I tell you, I'll give you 1,000 rand for each golf, for every golf that you saw. And what would you be able to tell me?
Wouldn't say.
You wouldn't know. But if I tell you, okay, I'm going to give you 1,000 rand for every golf you see, and you come back tomorrow this time and tell me, aren't you going to go out?
Look for that.
Exactly. So that's kind of how opportunities work. Inspiration and all sorts of other stuff. You have to be on the lookout and open to it. Yes.
Well said, my brother. Well said. I will say, you touched on some sources of inspiration.
Yes.
People, definitely.
Yeah.
Who you speak to, who you interact with, how they interact with you.
Yes.
Adversity. I think adversity. Struggling is one of the biggest sources of inspiration.
Oh, when you're at the bottom and there's nowhere else that you can go.
When you have to make a plan, and that plan finds you. That is something you can run with. Because that's where I was. And then nature and being outside.
Yes.
That is also one of the things that I haven't felt it yet, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. But in nature.
I have to an extent. I remember a few years ago we went on a hike. I think it was, what's this place here up?
Constantia Neck?
Yes, not Constantia Neck, but yeah, we were on there, if I'm not mistaken. Once you see the skyline, once you see the...
Oh, it's beautiful, no?
It triggers something. It definitely triggers. And, like you said, books, stories, videos, online messages and stuff like that. I think that is in today's age, 2025, everything is digital.
Everything is digital.
Everything must be happening now. So inspiration also can come in a 30-second video you watch on TikTok, or that Instagram picture you see, okay, how can I not steal but take inspiration from that?
And we're back. There was a quick malfunction, but we're back again. Are you still inspired? And are you still inspired?
Better be.
Yeah, so look, the thing with inspiration is getting inspired and acting like we were talking about just now, and all the things that you were just mentioning. There's this old story about the Stoic Socrates, where when you want something to happen, so the story has something to do with that. So Socrates, this this guy asks, how am I supposed to become successful? He comes to the master and he says, or to the old guy, Socrates, how do I become successful? Socrates says, come over here, come with me quickly, and they go up the hill, so to say, and they go to the water. And as they come to the water, he takes the guy's head, the young guy's head, and he puts it under water. So now the guy's obviously can't breathe, and up until the last, just before the guy passes out, he leave, and the guy comes up. So he says, like, are you crazy? Like, how can you do that to me? Like, I'm asking you how to be successful, and you shoving my head down the water. And he says, he uses that as an analogy for that's how much you must want it. As much as you want to breathe. That's how you become successful. That's how you chase it. Now, I don't know if that story is not inspirational.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's.
So you need, who always speaks about that? What's his name? Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas always says that you have to want it as much as you want to breathe.
Yeah, that's a
crazy, no?
It's a deep, that's a visceral image saying, hey, either death or
there's no
follow your dream.
And you talk about that. There's something like that in the I think it's in the Art of War. So I'm talking under correction, where they're going across. And they're going to go battle against someone else. I think what's one of the stories in there. I'm speaking under correction. I might be wrong. Where they went with the boats. Everybody went all there, and everybody got off the boats. So they don't know. They might have lost the fight, or they might lose the fight.
But
and
everybody's going.
He turned around. They turned around and they burned all the boats. So there's no way. It's either we win or there's death. That's crazy.
Look, that's actually, that forces you into fight or flight, survival mode.
Survival
it's either
mode.
you're going to kill everybody or...
And that's kind of when you get things done. Yeah. That's kind of when you at your peak, when your back is against the wall.
Adversity.
When
you're struggling, when you know, shit, there's no way out now. Shit has to happen.
I need to keep it moving, yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a decent one. That's a good one for me. I will say another inspiring story for me, I would say, is Harry Potter author, and I think she was the first female billionaire from author.
Okay.
First who made her money just from.
Yes.
And Harry Potter is one of the most.
One of my favorite movies, though.
Did you read the book?
No.
It's too long.
Look, I enjoy reading. But
700 pages is a trip.
I won't say 700 pages is the problem, although it is part of the problem. but fantasy, and this is not, I'm not taking a jab at anybody that reads fantasy. I'm not into fantasy. Self-help for me, so I can sit and read a 400-page, 300-page book. 200-odd pages.
I like fantasy, I'm not going to lie.
Is it?
Yeah, fantasy and horror books. Yes. Horror books and comedic books.
Okay.
There's some nice there's some nice self-help books. Yes. That is have a humorous tone to it. I don't know what the book's name is. I read it like probably 8 years ago. But it's also just this bruh. He's just talking about his story, but he's putting in all the I wouldn't say the worst parts, all the most embarrassing, humiliating parts of his life is in the book. Yes. And he's just talking about how it helped him to overcome and to deal with adversity, his fight or flight responses, all that stuff, and it built him up to be because it's on the book says #1 bestseller. So
must be a #1 bestseller. And talk about J.K. Rowling. So she got inspired while on the train, while delayed in transit.
Yes, I remember you told me about that. Yeah.
So look here, the crazy thing is, and I'm sure that everybody can relate to this. Don't you just get inspired in the weirdest places sometimes? Like you get the greatest ideas when you take a shower, when you take a number 2.
Yeah,
when you washing the dishes.
Anything. I'm with, because I believe, this is my philosophy, is that your body is in autopilot.
Yeah.
So all the stuff you're talking about now, you're taking a shit. Your body already know. Look, there's the routine. Yeah. I have to. I must. Yeah. So automatically your arms is doing, which leaves your mind
There's
free.
More space to think.
Gives your mind free to just wander.
That's a nice one.
Your mind just wanders and it goes through all the different shit you went through the day, or all the different ideas you have, and say, okay, you can focus a bit more on something. Because It's the same. I'm sure you also feel it when you're driving.
Yes.
You drive automatically. Your feet know when to change gear.
Oh, when you
know
drive, that's another
your
place
feet know
for
when you know
get-
when to brake. You know when to accelerate. You look in your mirrors, but
Yes.
it's all subconscious. I
You don't
I
think
do that
about
a
it.
lot.
Yeah.
I just drive and my mind
And
is.
then, mind you,
Traffic cops, don't come get the money.
I was thinking about this also this afternoon. It's a video that I wanted to make for TikTok also. So, where I get I think a mile a minute, and this is for everybody that's on that kind of page. Like, I have a bit of anxiety sometimes because of all the things that I think. So I physically have to do stuff in order to keep myself at bay.
Okay, I understand what you mean. Yeah.
So I sometimes get like hyper focused on certain stuff, and that's kind of when I'm in that inspiration mode. Because I'm so focused on this thing that everything kind of just pops out to me and stuff like that. And here's a tip for dealing with that kind of thing. Is what I found was, you will see my phone is full of notes. My phone is full of notes. Write down as the inspiration comes to you, as your to-do list things comes up. Write it down.
100.
Write it down. Either physically write it down or put it onto your phone or something in a place where you can come back to it again. What it does is it frees up space in your mind. So you don't have to remember. You don't have to think about it. And I've been doing this like crazy. Like whenever I'm like,
Whenever you have an idea.
babe, remind me, make an example, babe, remind me, this is a chore. Babe, remind me to do this, like to my wife. Babe, remind me. And then I'm like, because most of the time we are not reliable because we are thinking about our own stuff. So I jot it down and I put an alarm for myself. I put an alarm. I'm thinking about it. Okay, I use habit stacking, but we'll speak about that again. Habit stacking is basically after I get home, I'm going to do X. So the habit of getting home, I must go home, so it's a habit, and you stacking it with another habit. So it's kind of makes it easier to remember and easier to follow through with it.
Yeah, because that's a routine. It's already in it.
Yeah, so make your notes and those kind of things. It frees up that space in your mind, and like you said, it puts you in a position so that you can become inspired easier. That inspiration can flood into your mind at any moment. Yeah.
Okay. Where are we now? You said you had something regarding he who shall not be named.
Before we get to that, no? So here's the thing with inspiration and action. I know we touched on this earlier, but we can get a little bit deeper into it. So the thing with inspiration and action is being inspired is not enough. So like we said, it needs
Action.
to be paired with
Action,
it needs to be paired with action. Almost another malfunction, but we'll pretend that didn't happen. So inspiration is not enough. There has to be action as well. Right? So where this action and trying to become successful and all those other things after being inspired is how to increase your chances of being successful at whatever inspired you, or the new goal that you're trying to achieve. Is this is not real numbers, but let's just throw it out there. Let's say on average, you'll hear more no's and there'll be more failures than there is successes. It's like Kobe Bryant. We don't see him taking the 1,000 shots, but we see him
doing the 3 points, scoring 60 points a game,
and averaging high. So fail more as much as you can. That's when I was a supervisor. That's what I always used to tell them. Tell my colleagues was fail as much as you can, as early as you can.
Yeah, because later on you can't. Yeah.
Let's say, for instance, I making it my duty to fail 5 times, and out of that 5 times you win once. So let's say we use that as the metrics. If I fail 5 times and win once, then it means if I fail 10 times, I can win twice. So the more I try to fail. Les Brown always speaks about that of back in the day when he was a salesman. He was looking for the no. So when someone said no, it wasn't like, oh no, I don't want to buy the TV. I was like, well,
he knows the yes is coming closer.
The yes is coming closer. We have to get this 1 yes out of the 5 no's or out of the 10 no's. So that is a cool way of looking at it.
I'm definitely gonna adopt that. I'm definitely gonna.
That's gold.
Because you know what? That actually ties in now. This is a product placement. Arate Skills Development, guys. See at the bottom of the screen. Like, subscribe, check us out. With my ebooks now, I was thinking because the first 5 will be obviously if you DM us, you get it for free. That is, put it by the wall. Arate Skills Development, Kurt Lewis Life Coaching combined all together. Free 5-book personal development package.
Oh, and also the half-year life audit.
Ooh.
That is a big one, the half-year life audit. It's
DM
gold.
us, we will include it with your books. With every book that you want, there will be a half-life audit included with it.
Sharp.
I'm going. That needs to be added in here. Half-life. Oh, but my plan is, so if you guys have any ideas, shoot it into our comments, because I'm trying to get this to the youth.
Yes.
Because I heard the president say this morning, I know this is a tangent, but I heard the president say he was speaking, I don't know what it was, some press conference, making a joke. But he said they want to close schools for 2 years.
For 2 years. That's a bunch of BS. He's just talking out of his mouth again.
Fair enough. No? But the education system already sucks. How can
we close it? Don't even.
Yeah, okay, but the government's in a different topic. That's a whole 3 episodes on its own. Yeah, okay.
On Cyril alone.
Yeah.
Look here. Okay. So what I want to do now is I've got a few questions. I'm gonna give you categories. And then you tell me who you think the people think is the most inspirational in that category.
Okay.
Right, so I'm just gonna run through a few. So the first one is acting.
Acting. This is any genre, any.
Yeah, no, it's just acting.
Who's the
acting,
most
actresses or actors?
Who's the most inspirational now?
Yeah, who do you think people would say that's the most inspirational?
Okay. I would say I would put just one person.
Yeah.
You almost have to say Denzel Washington. It's kind of given. Almost a given, Denzel Washington. But I would say also there's unorthodox. But you can say what about it? Vin Diesel, you might know, but his story is also from Bronx. He grew up poor and what. He used to be a bouncer and he worked in the hairdresser also. But I promise you, when Fast 10.2 come out, everybody's watching that bitch. Everybody was before what's it, Fast 10 now?
I don't know where we are right now.
I think it's Fast 10, yeah. But when before that came out, everybody said, it's just bully. This is one of the highest grossing movies ever. Because no matter how many movies they make of this shit,
you still going to watch it. They asked, I think it's ludicrous. There was an interview with him. Why do you still make Fast and the Furious movies? It's a bunch of crap. He says because it makes money. As far as we can go and say, this is not realistic, that's not realistic. At the end of the day,
it's a movie.
It's not supposed to be.
It's not a documentary.
Look here. That's kind of why people say, I like fantasy, or not just fantasy movies, but I love movies with big special effects because I want to see how far they can push it and how believable it can look. The second thing is, I'm not going to say sports. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to say soccer.
Inspirational figure. The two is now. We're going to leave Messi and Ronaldo out. For me, I'll say Neymar. Because I've seen his rise, man. He's fallen off now a bit now, but that's at the end of his career. But from where he started, from an 11-year-old lady playing in the road with a volleyball, that man excelled.
I will also say Phil Foden, is it? From Man United. Man City. You know why I say so? I've heard so many children already. Yeah. Foden.
He's talented, I would say, and he's still young also.
And he's still. I think 24, 25. I think that's part of the.
I will say that
but he's a bit weird on the ball, no?
Yeah, he's left foot, but you know what he plays? He plays like a tall person, so he's lanky, but he's short. But it works for him.
Do you watch UFC?
Yes.
So UFC.
I've
to South Africa, I'm going to jump in there, I'm sorry. But to South Africa, right now, Driekus.
It has to be.
Hulle weet nie wat ons weet nie.
It has to be Driekus because he's killing shit now. But there is a what's that other brother? That he used to do. I can't come to his name now. But he was a world champion couple of times. I can't come to his name, but he used to grow up Brazilian, bro. Grew up in Brazil, grew up in the slums. Literally fought his way out of the dunguses and got his chance. And he beat Brock Lesnar, I know that much.
Ach, yeah, but Brock Lesnar wasn't...
Brock Lesnar in the UFC.
Was he a formidable opponent?
Have you seen it? He's a fridge. He's a fast fridge. But he's because you can say what he look big, but that man is nippy. He's nippy if you watch it because he whooped Dungus' ass. What's that brother's name? Also a white brother. Silver.
Anderson Silva.
That's it.
No, can't be Anderson Silva.
That's the first brother I was talking about.
I was thinking because he's ranked, like his winning streak. I think he's got the longest winning streak, if I'm not mistaken.
Beast.
And Adesanya's up there also.
He's very humble about it. When he win you, he come. You don't go down a system.
That man is a beast with the kicking. Let's go on to the next thing. Let's business.
So many. Business in South Africa, business abroad, business.
Anyway.
Vusi Tembakayo has to be one. He has to be up there.
Look here, I'm not gonna... Look here, Vusi Tembakayo, no? I know that he's a great businessman. He has to be a great businessman. But I don't know any of his businesses. But he is one of the most inspirational people.
You see him everywhere.
All over the show.
I don't know what business he's in. I don't know if he's advertising, marketing, what.
I don't know, because he always does. There's a few seminars and stuff with him online where he does. He gives people marketing advice and those kind of stuff.
Entrepreneurship.
So I think he does consulting, business consulting or something. Probably.
And him,
amongst other stuff.
Abroad, you would have to say your Steve Jobs, your Bill Gates, all of those men that started in the garages from scratch, basically. No, that would be my business. I think nothing contentious. All that's the normal answers, Singing,
R&B, Beyonce.
Okay, you can't.
Beyonce got a cult following.
Cult following doesn't mean
that you're inspirational. If you can get like a billion people to
Donald Trump, you say it's a cult following.
So he's inspirational to the white people. Sorry.
That saying
is inspirational to the.
But there's quite a few Afrikaners that also.
Oh yeah,
no, they
the spot.
They were outside the embassy and
everybody's tired of this BS that's happening in this country, man, bro. But it's a story for another day.
Okay. What's next?
Rapper Drake.
Of course, you're gonna say
Drake. Who's
okay? You know what? I agree with you.
Of course,
I agree with you. Drake is inspirational.
Yes, he is.
Because he inspired Kendrick to literally beat the shit out of him for a whole year and a half.
Kendrick is good, but he was talking about just chasing clout there.
Regardless of the point, Drake is the one who started the shit. Is it not?
But they've been going back and forth for like years.
For like 10 years, yeah. But Drake's
But Drake's still the most inspirational rapper. Because he inspired. There's like a lot of people that sound like him. The Weeknd, or because of the sweatshop that Drake was running, maybe he sound like The Weeknd.
You see, there's the. But I will say, Drake, I would say he inspires creativity in other people. But I don't think his life is inspirational.
Look, he's definitely one of those people, no? In terms of music. Yeah, his life is a bit sketchy, but in terms of music, they call him cultivator and all this other BS, no? But he is definitely inspired by a lot of other people. And I will say this, you can say what you want, you can frown and do all sorts of stuff. The songs that Drake jumps on with the people and the people that he put on, he is taking it to the next level. He is killing it on the song. You can't deny it.
It's Drake. Exactly. You can't look here. You can't deny the talent
and the inspiration.
You can't deny it. But he does still. I'm gonna wait. You heard
art.
You heard
is for everybody. Art is for everybody. If you put art out there, you are putting the if you put out there, if you put out there, how can you say he's stealing? Then everybody's stealing in the game because
What?
everybody's inspired by other people.
Stealing.
It's
You're stealing other people's thousands. No, I'm with it. If you okay.
okay.
Whenever you heard Drake rap in his home language, in Canadian.
What
Which is English.
What is what?
English with a with a
But the other thing that they always say about.
I've never heard him sing a Canadian song.
What is Canadian, guys? What is Canadian even?
What do you
is
mean?
Canadian?
Is it not Canadian music? I've heard Canadian music.
What does it sound like?
Did you hear Drake on Hey There Delilah? Did you hear
Is
that?
that Canadian?
That's the rapper in there. That's Canadian. But right or not, you've heard that Hey There Delilah, no? But is that inspirational?
No, that's why I want to single out one song.
I don't have it to the top of my head, but we have a list of hits and misses. But okay, in that regard, I would say Drake there, he has to inspire somebody because this man, for the last 10 years, every year
He's been on a run.
But do you think that is what made people so contentious towards him? Because this nigga's he's everywhere all the time for the last 10 years.
I think it's because of that.
Oversaturated.
And
I
also
think.
not oversaturated. Because he's got a few misses, no? But look here, I think it's also there's some stuff going on behind the scenes. Because if you listen to the battle, why would everybody decide today, yo, let's turn on Drake? It can't be. It's been stuff that's been brewing for a while and whatever.
Him and Kendrick has been.
Oh no, they've been jabbing each other for years.
Since the controversy of and
I think it's
he's
even
the only one that took it
even before
personally.
that, maybe?
Nah, he could control.
Oh, that was
He's
stupid.
the only one that said, nah, yo, when I met him, he was all friendly, but he
yeah.
says all the stuff. I think that's what the rap is was now.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's besides the point there.
Okay,
Yeah.
leadership.
Ooh. Ibrahim Traore, president of Senegal.
Pardon me.
I would say he's an inspirational leader. Nelson Mandela would be the obvious choice now.
Mahatma Gandhi, those men.
But that's the obvious choice. Nobody knows about Ibrahim Traore. But you haven't heard anything about
Tell us a
Senegal?
story.
Nah, that's what he basically had a coup.
Okay.
He started a coup in his country where they ousted the old president, who was a puppet from the wouldn't say puppet, but he was influenced by Western values, and he said, okay, come, he's gonna get his army owns. Everybody went to a section and they coordinated the attack. So everybody attacked at the same time. 24 hours, done. The man was in charge, and everybody was with him. And in the following months after that, this man systematically got rid of all foreign influence in his country. And at this moment now,
What country is it?
in Senegal.
Okay.
At this moment now, from what I understand, all foreign influences, all foreign companies, all out of his country.
Yes.
And all the resources is going back in this country. So every day developing new infrastructure, building new roads, schools, farms, affordable housing. The people is working in the mines.
That's easy inspiration.
His people. They're not flying in Chinese or Malaysians or Asian men to come mine, because that's what the Western companies causes. You can pay them $1 a day. Slave labor, which is that's another topic on its own. I didn't smart to get kidnapped to go work in the mines. So just leave it at that. Yeah.
I think that was good inspiration for this episode. If you stuck around this far, thank you very much, and I'm glad you feel inspired, because we certainly are.
100%.
Like,
Follow.
subscribe, and comment.
Yeah.
All the beautiful things. That's the best way that you can show support.
DM us for
the ebooks and also the half-year life audit.
All half your life audits will be included in every ebook.
Half-year life audits.
I'm just saying.
Putting it out there.
Just putting it out there in case shit's getting real for some people. But okay.
So that's it for this week's episode of Put It By the Wall. And remember, strength is good.
And inspiration is contagious. My brother,